Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on a Thursday night. It's 6 o'clock in Vegas time. You know what that means. It's coffee with K-Pro and Cal. I got my youngest Eric with me today. He just yelled hi from across the room.
What's up, Eric?
So I hope we have the audio issues resolved from last time. I believe we do.
Should we ask the room?
Yeah, I'm
Can
just
you
going to
hear us
say, I'm sure
okay?
you guys will let us know if we don't. Just waiting for it to start up here.
Oh, and
Mute. There we go.
I
Yeah.
need to get
So,
pop out.
all
Yeah.
right. So, what are we talking about tonight? Tonight, we're going to talk about safety. Safety on your boots on the ground. But first, we wanted to address
Uh-oh.
what?
Something. Okay. I'm sorry.
What happened?
I had my sound on, so I was
Yeah, you got to
hearing
mute
an
it. You got to
echo.
mute it.
I know. I just always forget.
So we wanted to talk about what happened at the end of our program last Monday night. In case there's anybody out there who didn't stick around long enough to figure it out, tell them, K-Pro. Tell them what it was.
Okay, so Mike and I played a teeny tiny. Actually, Mike and I just played along because I
Uh-huh.
couldn't stop him. Played a teeny tiny April Fool's joke about how we own the entire market and we were mad at Copper Dan. And we thought we
Not just Copper
specific,
Dan, everybody using
yeah,
the coin.
everybody, but we
Yeah.
kind of called out Copper Dan a little. And I think my favorite part was when Mike's like, if he was if people were human beings, and then we finally said it was a joke. And we did have some drop offs. I know I got some hate mail because people didn't wait until we said it was a joke. And so we love you, Copper Dan. It was we thought was funny. I think the people in the room, once they realized what we were doing, thought it was funny. And we were just being silly. So if you are back to see what we have to say about how we own the market on every like we invented water, we invented we were just being silly. We were
It
just
was an
it was
April Fool's Day joke, is what it was. So I hope everybody got that it was. I like when you do an April Fool's Day joke, and then you have to explain later that it was an April Fool's Day joke. So that's all that was. We were trying to get people upset. Like some people emailed us, like, "What in the world was going on?" And then they realized it was a joke. So all in
yeah.
good fun.
And I will say, one person used some very choice words when they emailed me. Someone I kind of knew, and then was like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Oh no, it's okay. It was all in good fun." Like, you of all people should realize capitalism and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
we.
blah. And I'm like,
And that's
like,
why it
yeah.
was an April Fool's Day joke.
And I'm like, "Did you watch the rest of it?" And then they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I said that." And so no, it's all in good fun. We knew there was a little bit of a risk, but Copper Dan, thick skin, super nice. We knew that if we went after Copper Dan, the room would turn on us and we'd have some fun. So anyway,
Right.
we had some fun with it. So anyway, so we wanted to clear the air because I think some people were like never coming back, and maybe they'll never come back. We don't know. Um,
Well, that's her choice. But hey, we had to get you. We had to get you on April Fool's Day. I did
we
it
had
2 years
to
ago with the letter in the mail. I got them again. So it was
try.
fun. It was a lot of fun. And I almost forgot
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to do what we normally do and talk about 45 minutes on content, pure content, which is safety. And I think this search season is going to be a little bit different. Yeah, so people are now adding us back in. Okay, sorry about that. So people are now going to add us back in. We're going to talk about safety. I posted a few different places. What are some unique hints? Because we all know, like, be prepared, do this, do that. And then Mike and I are going to give maybe a top story that we had of a lessons learned. Now that Mike's been boots on the ground, we're going to do a top story that each of us have on boots on the ground, kind of a lessons learned. And then we'll spend the last 15 minutes or so on the. Okay, we're having meltdowns here. Okay, you can. That's okay. We
Go
have
if you
stuff
gotta
going on
go.
here. No, that's okay. And then we'll jump into a couple, like, Forrest has some new words out, and we're maybe going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about, maybe if we have time, last night's AGK and Sassy, the winner of another treasure hunt, and she gave some good lessons learned, and a few other things that we'll give announcements
Clue
to.
number 2 for the silver coin hunt.
Ooh, yes, yes, and some stuff. So we have, I don't know, 5 or 6 different announcements after that
Mm-hmm.
hits.
Yep.
But we wanted to jump into safety, and then I know we'll want to talk about Forrest new words, so we might.
Mm-hmm.
Holly says, "Don't wear Skechers." I think when we get into boots on the
Yeah, that's
ground,
right.
each of our experiences, that might be Mike's. So
Lesson learned. I should grab them and show them. Actually, I should go grab them.
go grab them, Mike. I can start with the list because I have a list. I posted on the different Facebook pages and on Thor, and said, "Hey, so what would you give as a unique hint, something that's kind of a best practice type of thing?" And what happened, Mike?
No. Doug was saying he's cornered the market on auctioning Grand Adventure answers on eBay, so he'll sue anybody who copies them. His own little
Oh,
joke. So,
nice.
yeah.
I like. Okay. Okay. So I think the most important thing for boots on the ground is we won't even go into, go with confidence, etc. It's going to be all about safety. Just making sure that you make it home safe. Some searchers have not,
Right.
and so that's basically what we're going to talk about tonight. So I think out of the unique ones that came out, and throw yours in chat. And if you have questions, of course, ask questions as we go. But I would say I will call myself a flatlander. I do not hike a lot. First boots on the ground, where I was really off the beaten path for about a mile, I hike and stuff, but I'm always kind of on the beaten path. So this was new to me, and I think there's a lot of us. I think this hunt brings in a lot of people that are not the people that are tried and true for years and years and decades out camping and off the beaten path constantly. So this is kind of the dummies guide. My volume down.
We'll just put this up. No, that's not gonna affect it. Just put this
Oh.
up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Now it's down. Let me know if that's too low, because it's lower to me. Let me know if it's too low for you guys. Maybe bring it down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
Yes, please keep giving us feedback on that as well. Okay, so the first is altitude. If you've not dealt with altitude before, it can. So what does it do to you? It makes you disoriented. It makes you short of breath. It can make you pass out. There's a lot of things. So a lot of people will get there a couple days beforehand, just to make sure that the altitude doesn't affect them too much.
They get acclimated to the climate.
Yeah, some people have said, like, bring a bottle of oxygen and all of that. I would just
pretty hardcore.
Yeah. And there was some definite hardcore stuff. The stuff that I'm not going to talk to unless Mike wants to is weapons to bring, and like guns and all that kind of stuff.
Slingshot.
Well, it was more like 45 to like take the grizzly, because if a grizzly's coming after you, you could have a shot that totally hits them right between the eyes. So anyway, Mosaic Mind, does that sound better? Okay.
Yeah, they're all saying it's good. So now we know right there.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry
for both of us, probably. I wasn't too low before, but I think we're good now. So.
Yeah. So I will say, okay, so my other one that came from Jeremy P. I don't know if he's in the room, but Jeremy P said, I really like this one. I hadn't heard this one. If you're going off the beaten path, every 100 feet or so, put a little mark on a tree with a piece of chalk. And so you can see where you went, and where the last one, it's an eye shot, the last
one. Actually, an arrow on how to get back, which way to get back to the car would probably be good, right? That's the Hansel and Gretel method. So yeah, that actually makes sense.
I hadn't heard that one before, and I thought, ooh, that's awesome. I think that's great. So everybody's now talking about their guns.
Right.
Right. I'm not going there. I also like Rick, Illinois Ghost. I don't know if he's in here yet. He talked about the most important thing is to stay dry. It's interesting because when I went boots on the ground, I went during the summer. I will say Ojo Caliente was one of and I went swimming, so I didn't care about staying. I mean, I kept my
but it was hot out, right? It was nice out. It wasn't like it was cold or anything.
So nice out, and yeah, it was just like swim I wanted to swim where Forrest had swam, so I swam for a while. Drink a lot of water. Davio's exactly right.
Well, he's saying for the week before you leave. Why is that? Just to help your body?
Because it gets your entire body hydrated. Like if you've ever, I know you don't drink too much, Mike, but if you've ever drank really heavily on a Friday, on
alcohol?
Saturday, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're pretty dehydrated. I mean a lot. I think you have to
all right.
So on a Saturday, you'll be dehydrated for a couple of days. So hydrate up, because if you head out and let's say you get lost, you could have a couple of days of um, issues. So
um,
what you're
no,
reading me?
somebody said when you're in bear country, always travel with someone that's slower than you are.
Okay, that is actually on my list where I talk
Nice.
about boots on the ground. I had the bear belt and I had the bear spray, and I asked my search partner, why am I doing both of these things? And he said, it's very simple. I can outrun you. You're going to need them. I'm not going to. And he was like serious. And I looked at him and I said, actually, you're right. And he goes, I know I am. And so I was the one that did the practice on the spray and all that. So if you have someone significantly faster than you, you need to be more prepared than he
Right.
was. I'm like, wait, but this was a male family member of mine. I'm like, aren't you going to be chivalrous? And he's like, I got kids, babe. No.
He's
So
gone,
that
huh?
was exactly. So now I can take that one off my list. Um, Somebody else posted, and stop me if we want to talk about any of these as we
Yeah.
go. Um, you're not going that far off the beaten path. Forrest was 80-ish
Right. I think
when
that's
he
important. Yeah.
right. So you're not packing for a 6-hour hike out, like a mile out, a mile back. I mean, it's or 2 miles or 3
Yeah.
miles or whatever
Now,
it
if you
is.
just
But
want to go on a hike to have a nice hike and the scenery and all that, that's fine. And it's safety is important for that too. But if it's just looking for the chest, I mean, 2 miles, I don't know how far out. I mean, everybody's going to have a different opinion, but I don't think 2 afternoons in one trip, put it that way. An 80 year old man made 2 afternoons in one trip. I'm sure he was back before the sun was down.
yeah.
So, right. That's
Well,
the
I'm walking
afternoon, not
amongst
the
the
evening.
lions.
So, yeah.
I walking amongst the lions says bear bells don't work. Human voice is better. I would
Hmm.
say both. I sang, I talked. I mean, I know it's shocking. I talked a lot online, but I did the bear bell too. I just thought it couldn't hurt because for me, one of the things that I used was a walking stick. I did not want to put my hands in hidey holes, but when I got close
Yeah.
enough to where I thought the treasure was, I wanted to stick my hand. So I had the walking sticks that came from REI, and they
Yeah.
were fantastic.
And the other thing
Um,
would be gloves. I mean, take gloves, right? If you're turning over
yeah,
rocks or you're digging looking for the treasure, I mean, take rocks. I mean, take if you're overturning rocks, take gloves.
yeah, yeah. So, Mike, why don't you talk to this one? Good shoes.
Yeah, the two most important thing, and I've thought about this since we said we were going to do the show. The two most important things to me that you decide to take are water and shoes. You're going to be walking, looking for boots on the ground. Is boots on the ground, so you should probably have some good hiking shoes. I had Skechers when I did my 5 days boots on the ground in the Red Rock Canyon area here in Vegas, and they got tore up, holes in them, no longer wearable, and I can just imagine what it would be like in actual forest type country, the country that's in the search location instead of like the more desert terrain that's out here. So I think boots are number one, probably nice, a good pair of thick socks. And like you say, don't get them wet. Um, oh, Copper Dan with the 666. And I'm not
Oh my
sure
god,
how to take that,
I
but
don't
thanks,
know.
Dan.
Oh my gosh, super chat. And Copper Dan, if you have a question, we will be happy
Yep.
to. He knows too much. Oh God, we're gonna go into a place we don't want to come back
Somebody
from.
hit us with a 777 to counteract that.
Ah,
Um, so water and shoes, I think, are the two most important things, and then food,
right.
right? This all
Well,
to me, what safety means is if you go out there and you get stuck, or if you go out there and you get lost. If I'm going to go out for an hour and come right back to my car, that's not really. I don't need that much to do that. But what if I go out for an hour, but I get lost on the way back to my car? And if you have to spend the night out there, if you're out there when it turns dark, I mean, that's the
but
stuff you need in your backpack for safety, right?
right, but I want to ask this question. I would normally say yes, but here's
Hmm.
what I want to ask. Someone like I think Sled's in the room. There might be some others. I've been told don't do the food because that's only going to attract bears because they have the scent to come and find you if you have the food in your
Yeah,
backpack.
that's true. And even if you
So
have it in some kind of container, when you take it out to eat it, I wonder if that's a problem. Like you're not supposed to do
I
that while
think
you're
it
out
is.
there.
I don't put any food. Now I put it in the car because I'm less than a mile away.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
true.
make my way back. So I will say for me the food part, but I'd love to hear from the room and those that are much more educated. And Steve Gahagan, we're going to go over a medical kit in a minute because there's some
Yeah.
debate on that one as well. But yeah, hey bear, hey bear. Okay, then you
In a
yell at the
loud
bear.
voice. That's right. You scare the bears, basically.
Yeah, which they want to stay away from you, except if little cubby bear. Somebody, a searcher sent me So there was a male bear and a female bear, and the female bear will actually go and try to kill the male bear because the male bear will go and try to kill the cub
Oh.
because female bears do not go into heat when they have a baby cub around, and you know how crazy they are about their cubs. So she like took them up the tree, and she was vicious. It was awesome to watch. I mean, she didn't like actually get to him. There wasn't like an attack, but she was very, very protective. And so you don't want to get between. I mean, if you get anywhere near, I've been out 6 or 7 times. I've never seen a bear. I don't even know what I would. I would pass out. I would die from passing out. I don't carry bear. I don't carry bear bait,
Which is food.
which is food.
So
Okay,
some
so
people do and some people don't. That's interesting. I mean, what if it's in Ziploc bags? Shouldn't that conceal? If you take beef jerky in the store bought bag and you
oh my God, no. I think no,
what?
but room weigh in
No.
like because okay, so I don't know.
Well, what
I
do
will
people
just
do when they're going to camp overnight out there? People are in these areas, these 4 states camping
well,
overnight.
I
They
know
take
the
food,
couple of
right?
times that I've camped overnight is you actually have to tie it up into the trees so then the bears can't get to it
What?
because they can have scent. They have scent that's like phenomenal. So
Wow. Okay. Well, see, I'm not a hiker type person, so this is new to
I'm
me.
not. So, okay, room, when you go out for the day, if you are in bear country, do you take a snack? That's what I want to know. Do you take a snack
But
that,
mention the peanut butter that you were talking about, because to me that seems perfect. It's
yeah,
in a
so,
jar, right?
yeah, so the one thing, Cynthia, and we're going to talk about some tubers if we have time later, but tubers, Jamie, our
Thank
princess.
you, Camellia. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go back to good always triumphs over hate.
All right.
777
Can we get an
always
eight eight
triumphs.
eight? Anybody? 888. Going once, going twice. Thank you.
You smell like food to a bear. If you have food sled or just in general, like if I wear my perfume, is that going to attract them? I'd love to. And I know, I don't know.
Donna
Oh, Michael Hall's here. So
Donna
welcome.
Buckles, is that a true story? She said, my son in a tent in the Rocky Mountains, dog food in a pan outside of the tent. I'm assuming that means you had your dog with you. Bear tore across the tent. My son runs, knocks out a tooth. Wow.
Oh,
So they had dog food for, I'm assuming, a dog, and a bear showed up and he ran and knocked out a tooth. So wow. So if you have food, maybe we should say this: if you do take food, make sure it's in a container where you seal it. You don't leave it out in just a bag that you roll down. You
yeah.
definitely want to seal it to get rid of the smell. I mean, would that be fair to say? Ziploc bags for the food.
I'm going to defer to the room because I'm not an expert and I don't want to say the wrong thing. I know what I think. So I'm going to wait for people to weigh in, but I'm going to say something to Zars334. Where is the cheapest place to buy boots? I will
Oh,
tell
that's a
you,
good
this is
question.
one place that you do not want to go with the cheapest. And Mike knows more than anybody,
All right.
I buy cheap. You know, I'm like Miss Clearance Special Extraordinaire. So here's what I do. It is amazing. It is much like when you like have the latest Prada or the latest women's fashion, that year's model is a big deal. I went to REI and I said, "Why is this set of boots $150 but this one's only $79?" And they said, "Oh, that's because that's last year's model." And I'm like, really? Is it that important? They said to a lot of the like Davio's in the room. I bet you there's a lot of like hardcore hikers and
Hmm.
climbers that's a big deal to them. I don't care if it's last year's model or this year's model. I just needed a really good pair of boots. So I got a good pair of boots at REI for, I want to say it was 60 or $70. Um, and I would say that's the one area that I do not go. Oh, and Cabela's. Yeah. So REI, Cabela's.
Right.
I
I
don't know.
mean,
Maybe,
should you get hiking boots from Walmart? Or is that not where you want to be looking for? I don't know if they have hiking boots. I don't know what's at Walmart, so or a
they have
Kmart, or one of those stores.
right. They have what they believe. Okay, I do shop at Walmart,
Hmm.
and they do have what they believe is if you want a one day. I would not, and I again am the cheapest person alive when it comes to getting deals. I will not buy hiking boots at a discount. I will buy last year's model, like I said, or a clearance model. I only go, and I've had mine 3 years now, and they're rough. They're like, they've been dirt and sand and all that, but I won't. And I'm sure Walmart has them. That's just one area I will not go bottom dollar for.
So I've seen a
So,
couple of people say if you take food, it's okay. Just make sure you put it in Ziploc bags so you can seal the smell. And personally, that sounds right to me. I
okay.
haven't been out there in a place where there's bears, but I mean, I would at least like to take beef jerky or peanut butter, like we said, or some kind of dried fruit and
Yeah,
nuts type
I'll go
thing.
back
And
to peanut butter.
yeah.
So, and this goes to anyone that wants to take a test. I tell my students this. One of the best things that you can do right before a test is take a spoonful of peanut butter. And MEH maybe can say the same thing. This is phenomenal to get your sugar up. You get a boost of energy, and it really helps for you. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's the same thing. And Cynthia just did a great video
Yep.
that talked about how peanut butter is phenomenal to have, especially if you do get lost because it's so concentrated. You don't need very much, and it gives you that spike. Those of you that think like I'm somebody when I work out really, really hard, I throw up. My body, my stomach kind of shuts down and I throw up. And so I think I don't want to like eat a lot. You don't need to eat a lot, but that's why the trail mix is so good because it'll have like raisins for the sugar, but it'll have M&Ms in there for the chocolate, and then nuts that'll give you the protein or whatever the nuts.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
I posted Cynthia's video in the Grand Adventure. Did you see how
I saw
much
that.
jam she put on that sandwich? Oh my god! I mean, that was a lot. I mean, it's Sasha's jam, which I'm sure is awesome. It's delicious, but man, she like put a whole. I was like, holy cow, that's a lot of jam. But anyway,
Oh, yeah. Okay, so
the
we're
little things that I notice.
yes, okay. I did not notice that part, but I
Yeah.
have heard Sasha's jam rock. So,
Everybody watch Cynthia Meacham's video and look at how much jam she puts on that sandwich.
and maybe we'll ask her about it on the next AGK.
Right.
Okay, so the big thing for shoes for me, especially when you're off the beaten path, is to get shoes that go up and around the ankle. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably the most important part for me. Other than that, I know I spent about an hour because it was my first boots on the ground and I hadn't been, and so I hadn't been out hiking probably, God, decades. So they showed me the different models and they're like, this one's better for this and this one. And I was like, this one feels good and it's the cheapest. But the cheapest was like 79 bucks. So it really worked out for, yeah, sugar rush. You get the sugar rush from the
Right.
jam, you get the sugar, it's perfect. Um, okay.
Strawberries.
So,
There we go, AJ.
okay. So check, spare, and jack. Have lots of water. Have a weapon for protection. I'm going to add
Mm.
for your pack, extra room for the chest, and sandwiches, of course. Ooh, I like that list.
And it
I go ahead, Mike.
I think a lot of it depends on where you're searching. If you know if you know where you're parking and you know exactly where you're looking and you have a small area and it depends. If you're just wandering around trying to look for um, clues and you're not you're going to be out there all day, I think maybe you pack differently. It depends on the trip. It depends on the hike that you're taking.
Yeah, and I don't mind personally. I've had this debate with my past search partner of how much do you pack your bag up.
Right.
I actually overpack too much, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I don't mind if I find the chest, I'm going to take out my rain gear on my other gear and take that stuff out and leave it and put the chest in there. I have actually put some medicine balls from working out, like yoga working out,
Mm-hmm.
and put 40 pounds and walked it around.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't need to have that amount of space in my pack though. If my pack is fine, I'm gonna get that in my pack, no problem. And I had a huge debate with my first search partner. He was like, "We're gonna do it Forrest way, and we'll take all the contents first, and then we'll go back for the test."
Right.
And I told him he's out of his mind. There's no way I'm leaving any of it. My adrenaline will be pumping. It will
Well,
not matter. I can
yeah.
run. What do you think, Mike?
Well, you'd be all paranoid, of course, but something tells me
Yes.
whoever the person is who actually finds it, they could leave it there. It's been 8 years. I don't think anybody else is going to come across it the
No.
next night. You could if you needed to. If you realize I can't get this out of here, leave it. Put it back the way it was concealed. Go back, get your backpack, get your bags, whatever it is, and then come
Is there
back.
one person in the room that once they see it and find it and look at it, come back the
I'm
next
not
day?
saying I could do that, but
Oh,
I'm saying if
what?
you have to. What's the other option? What if you can't carry it all? Then what do you do?
Why can't you carry it?
Maybe it's too much. 44 pounds is too much. I don't know. You think
Okay.
you could do it?
Okay. Well, first of all, I trained and I made
Right.
sure, and everybody probably knows my story about I emailed Forrest when I made it a mile and I was like, is this far enough? And then I made sure I could carry 42 pounds. But think about this, not 42 pounds when I'm just, oh, I've had a long day and I'm going to run and talk and think
Hmm.
about my kids and my job today. No, it's, oh my God, look at that $1 million of treasure. The adrenaline's running.
Right.
I'd probably be able to lift 1,000 pounds. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yes. Okay. So let's see where we're at. Okay. Let's talk about overpacking. I I don't think you did this, Mike, but I did. So
What?
I bought one of the army packs from Fenn Treasure Hunter, Jason, and it's a big army pack. And I
Right, I
filled
remember that.
that bad boy. I was full, and it had everything in it. I probably could have been out packing or out hiking for a good month. So I don't think you need as many things. I had like everything in the world ready. And I think I was just a newbie, and I'm still a newbie when it comes to truly getting out in the wilderness. So I'll give you an example. Inside the pack that comes from Fenn Treasure Hunter is an emergency kit. And
Hmm.
in the emergency kit is like 100 band-aids. If you need 100 band-aids on one boots on the ground, you
A
probably need
hundred
to draw.
band-aids.
Yeah, well, because it's all the different sizes and things. And I have an emergency kit here at the house when we go out and do stuff. If you, there's no way you need, maybe a couple of each one, maybe a couple of swabs, maybe a couple of this, couple of that. I mean, I do think like Bactine and other things, sure, but little tiny sizes. If you need a big container of stuff, you're not going out that
Right.
long. So I would say I really now I will say I put a pack in my car in case I do have like a major cut or a major whatever, I can get
Mm-hmm.
back to the car. But I overpacked every time. I had an extra pair of sweats. I did have rain gear, like a really lightweight. It was only about that big, but it was a waterproof jacket, and it was phenomenal. Um, Being overprepared is not a bad option. That's true, but leave it in the car, because if you're packing in 30 pounds of gear for literally a day hike, I don't know. Um, I took my emergency kit out of my pack from Fenn Treasure Hunter and I kept it in my truck. Copper
Oh,
Dan, I
that's
remember
cool.
you saying that. I like that. He said he has it like in his glove compartment. It's always there for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that idea. So you have a little something, but you don't need a huge something.
Right.
Um, so let's talk about who do you check in with? So, Mike, you went boots on the ground a couple times
Yep.
out in the wilderness. Did you have a check in process?
I did not. So
Okay.
yeah, I guess it depends on the day. Like there were some people I work with that knew I was going when I called in sick at work, and because I was dedicated, I'm like, I'm going to find this thing. I know it's there somewhere.
Dedicated.
Um, but I think, and then when I was out there with the boys, I mean, their mother knew we were going to Red Rock, and Red Rock's a little bit different because you can see your car. It's just you're way up on the top of a mountain. You got to get down to it. So it's
And you
not.
had people around you,
Yeah,
right?
and there were people out there. I mean, the
Yeah.
importance of water. I'm out there climbing up this mountain, going way too high. I found out where this thing was, but there's three people there from Dubai, and they had regular clothes on. They had regular shoes. They're not out there hiking. Why they came to the mountains in Red Rock, I don't know. But they're up there where I am, and they didn't have any water. So I opened up my pack where I had 3 bottles of water, and I gave them one.
Yeah.
Which is the neighborly thing to do, I guess. But to go without water, I think was a big mistake. So
Well, I'll tell a short story. When I first time I've hiked the Grand Canyon twice. The first time I hiked the Grand Canyon, somebody said clip your toenails. It was incredible because I will tell you a disgusting
for
story
real.
that yeah, cut your toenails because I went I when I was hiking down, your toes are hitting
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and my toenail, both of my big
Oh,
toenails
ow,
popped off.
ow. Put some
And so I got
salt
to
on
the
it. Ow.
that's exact. I went to the water and I,
Oh.
like everybody else, went hiking. It was gross, I do have to say. But when we were hiking back out, there's a spot about, I don't remember, I think it was West Rim. I don't remember. But there's about a spot about a mile down that says if you go beyond this spot, you will be charged to have a helicopter come. It's on you basically.
Oh, okay.
And there was about a 90-year-old man, and he had gone another maybe half mile too far. And we saw him. I was dead. But my brother-in-law I was with, and he said there was about a 90-year-old man, and he's like, I can't afford the helicopter because they put these big signs that say, and it's 10 grand if you do it.
Really? Holy cow.
Yeah, they tell it, but there was people without shoes, and they were.
Yeah.
But this
Flip
man, he was
flops.
done. Yeah. So my brother-in-law turned to me and he goes, I have a 30-pound pack. Can you put it on your front? Because I had my pack. It was about 30 pounds in the back. And he took this man and put him on his back, and we made it back up. But that was a great testament. Do not go further than you can physically do it. And the man
Right.
was, you could just tell he was out of it. He was just not doing well. We got him back up, and his wife was so grateful. They're like, we don't have that money. What do we do? We've been here all day. People have been passing us.
Right.
And so we made it up, but it was like I went from a 30-pound pack to a 60-pound pack. But he had like a 100-pound, 120-pound man on his back. So I didn't complain, but we made it to the top. But that is, if people are around, that's very different. Like, so Mike, your point is at Red Rock, it sounds like there was some people around.
Yeah, there were people around.
When I went off the beaten path in Yellowstone, there was not. Maybe there was
Right.
people out in the distance, and occasionally you might pass somebody. There wasn't. So I think it's very different. Some people talked about getting the GPS with the SARS that you
Yeah, and
can.
GPS is another one that I think everybody should have. Although how you use one, I don't know. I've never had a GPS other than on my phone, I guess, but or a compass.
Yeah.
Would a compass help? Compass GPS combo, I think. Anything
Um,
that helps you get back to where your car is, I think, in case you're lost. A GPS is for if you're lost, right? So
yeah. And Donna Buckholt says for
helicopter
$39 a year,
insurance.
you can get
Wow,
helicopter
I've
insurance.
never
So
heard of that. That's interesting.
So that guy would have been covered for the 10,000. That any helicopter rescue, you will be charged.
It's
I've heard
30 to
30 to
70.
70
Okay.
grand. My
Wow.
God.
Yeah, that's great.
You get a Sherpa. You need a Sherpa. That's
Yeah.
what you need. Well, and so that is what I told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. I have two different sets of searchers that have asked me to be their check-in. The
Okay,
first
that's cool.
is somebody that has said, I trust you with my solve.
Hmm.
I'm going in at 10 a.m. on Monday. If you don't hear from me by 5, here's where you need to tell the rangers I am, and here's the nearest ranger. That's number one.
Hmm.
But as most searchers know, even though your solve is phenomenal, you're worried about, or because your search is phenomenal, you don't want somebody to steal your solve. So people trust me, but they don't trust me that much. What they say is, I don't want usually it's a wife, to worry. She doesn't even understand the hunt. I'm going in at 10 and I'm leaving at 5. If you don't hear from me by 5, here's my wife's information,
Right.
and call her and say something's wrong. And she knows where I am. I'm sorry, I just don't trust you that much yet. And I say, either way, if it makes you safe, I don't care. And so I have two sets of searchers that I will, and I think I've been on the phone with several searchers where I'm like, oh, it's my safety check-in. I have to go. And I get off the phone and
And somebody had a great idea, which I never thought of. Your car, when you park your car, leave a big note in the windshield that says, "If I'm not back by this time, help."
oh,
And
that's a
maybe
good
when
one.
your car is the last one in the parking lot and park rangers come through, whenever it is, even if it's the next day, they
Yeah.
realize, hey, this person isn't back. There's a problem. So
Oh,
that's
that's a
kind
good
of
one.
interesting. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to say where exactly you went, but at least somebody's like, hey, somebody hasn't gotten back to their car on the time they wanted to. Call somebody. Maybe there's an issue here. So.
Michael, is that true? You can make a rope out of 100 band-aids? Is that why I have so many band-aids in my pack? I think is he
It's kind
being,
of a small rope, I think.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, is that sarcastic font
Yeah,
or
I
is
think
that
so.
legit? If that's legit, if that's like a life hack, that's awesome. I
All
don't
right.
know.
So what have we said so far? We said walking sticks. We said gloves. We said hiking boots. Water, of course. I think water is up there in the top three. Good boots, like we said. What about rain gear? What if you're out there and it starts raining? Should you have some
Okay.
kind of rain gear with you?
That's on my list. Don't forget the chalk. I like Jeremy P's idea
Oh,
of chalk
chalk on the
everything.
tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to get lost, so I definitely need something.
Well, rain gear for me is not full rain gear.
Right.
Rain gear for me is one of those, and you can get them where they like turn into a little tiny pack thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you take them out, and they're basically just a waterproof
Yeah.
rain,
Right.
like a windbreaker
Mm-hmm.
almost.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely one. We said water, we said shoes. One we haven't talked about, and especially for the ladies, but I guess the guys too, toilet paper. But
Yeah, toilet paper,
pack
of
it,
course.
pack it in and pack it up. No trace left behind. Pack it home.
Well, you take a shovel and you bury it. That's what Cynthia said. And I'm assuming that's what she was talking about. She said if you take toilet paper, you got to take a shovel. So I
Okay,
think if
well,
you bury
so
it's
now
all
you're,
decomposable, right? So, yeah. And don't
yeah. Oh, okay.
issues. Yeah, so I think toilet
Yeah,
paper for obvious reasons is a very good idea. Um
stay right there. Okay. Let's
don't
see.
ask.
How about one or okay? So I had a new search friend. I haven't seen if this person's in there or not.
Mhm.
Um, they are shocked about the water level. And so there is a
Right.
video that I would like Mike to put in the link of waders.
Oh,
Don't
right.
bury paper. Sledneck says don't bury the toilet paper. So I think
No?
you pack it in and pack it out. That's what
Okay.
I've always heard, but I wasn't
That's
going to
more
question.
more need
I
for
never
Ziploc
questioned
bags.
Cynthia. So yeah, you take some Ziploc bags, absolutely. Um,
Um,
so, and I talked about the check-in, but water runoff is huge. There's going to be a lot more snow, so there's going to be a lot more runoff. So there, you might have been ankle deep or um, um, deeper and deeper in. We're I have lots of stuff happening around me. I'm
well,
so
and you're not
sorry.
even talking about crossing a river or something. You're talking about it just being wet where you're walking, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So, but it could be ankle deep, but next year it could be knee deep or higher. And one thing that I'm shocked about, if you walk in water that is knee deep, it
Yeah.
may have a huge current that can knock you off your
Hmm.
feet. Don't just think, oh, it's into my knees. That's fine. No, it's not. It's not fine. Um,
So Lori says, and I think she's serious. She said, if you're in bear country, you don't hike during your menstrual cycle. She put really like, so I don't know. I
okay.
don't know about that one.
Okay.
I'm
So
not
in
touching that one.
okay, and actually, it was a mail searcher that sent me this. I've had this week has been fun because I've learned a lot.
Right.
There's a myth on both sides, or there's a myth and then a
Yeah.
counter
Right.
myth of this actually attracts or this actually makes bears go away.
Repel.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know which it is because I've watched the videos on both, and that's where I was like, I'm not educated enough on this subject. But I will say some believe it, and then some say absolutely not. If there is anyone that uh, is really really strong on
Yeah.
which way, I just have seen things both ways. Susie,
Yeah.
we're so talking about sassy
End of the
very
show.
soon. Yes, because I it was so interesting to watch last night. But we want to get through. We're in the last couple of minutes of safety. Is there any other, especially from the room, anything else that you do, especially safety wise, that you want to throw? Oh, Sledneck says it or try. I don't know why I'm like Sledneck is whatever he
What?
says goes. He says the menstrual cycle
Oh,
attracts bears.
and I don't know.
Oh my god.
The other thing is if you're going to get hiking boots, maybe it'd be a good idea to make them waterproof hiking boots, right?
Yeah.
Because in case
Yeah.
you run into water. Now, if you know you're going to cross water, that's a whole other safety issue. So you really got to be careful on that one. But
Yeah.
flare gun is interesting.
Time of day matters for creek river crossing of all involved. Low at dawn, high in the afternoon. I didn't know that.
Right.
It's kind of like the currents of the river. I did not know that. So, huh. I yeah, I don't. William's here. Hi, William. I hope you had a good day today.
No sex either. Okay. All right. Let's
Wait,
get off the sex deal. All right.
I was gonna say, why is that
The smell.
okay?
The bears.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, it's a consideration, I guess.
I'm not going there, but I
Yeah.
don't think that's. I think that's a myth. I'm sorry.
I
Um,
don't know. I'm not getting
okay.
caught with my Twinkie out. Put it that way.
Oh my God, Michael.
I meant that with food, a Twinkie. Come on, guys, keep it clean.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was totally yes. Blood is blood. I actually, Lori James, I
That's true.
tend
Blood
to
is
agree
blood.
with you
Yeah.
because I watched, gosh, I want to say 10 years ago, they used to have a show called America's Top Model. It was like with Tyra Banks,
Hmm.
and like they would compete, and one of them was they were in a shark tank, and the sharks would swim around them, and one of the women was on her cycle, and
Mm.
so it attracted, and they're like, oh no, the shark is going to attack you, and so
Oh,
if
jeez.
bears, I don't know if
Yeah,
bears are the same way,
it
and
would
so
make
they didn't
sense
let her get
though.
in
A
the water.
carnivore
So,
is probably attracted to blood. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know these things. These
Yeah,
are
I don't think I
okay.
want to know. So I keep
We're
those
doing
stories to yourself, people.
we're basic 101. We don't get into the advanced, and there's debate because I saw videos on both that
Yeah.
bears don't eat Twinkies. Okay,
Nah,
we're
oh, that's
not
good to
going
know. Good to know. But if I
there.
do make the trip and I do a real boots on the ground this summer, then I think what I'll do is I'm going to get all this gear and maybe we make a vlog on the actual items and we're like, hey, this is what I bought. You know what I mean? Like these are the boots and this is the this and this is
We're
that.
gonna do that, Mike. We'll do
That's
that.
right. If we do a boots on the ground, that's right. Because somebody keeps talking about function in the junction, so we'll see.
I didn't publicly, Michael.
No,
Oh my
I said we'll
God.
see. I said we'll see. That's all.
I didn't say that. Mike will say that.
We'll see.
Okay.
I didn't say anything.
We'll see. I don't know. Ooh, beers. Oh, I was
All
like
right.
next thing want to bet. Okay,
So
so
we
is
had to
there
miss something. What did we miss for safety? For safety, what did we miss? How about a flashlight? Did we mention that?
Yeah, we definitely need a
Because
flashlight.
to me, the biggest safety thing is if you're out there after dark and you didn't plan on it. Now, what are you going to do? You're dark in the woods, whether you're lost or not. Just to get back in the dark, it depends how much
Yeah,
moonlight there is.
absolutely.
But you want maybe a flare gun. You know, if you're really lost and you need rescue, to me that's a flare gun. But a flashlight for sure, right?
Yeah, I have a flashlight that pops open and it's like
Like
a
a lantern. Yeah, right.
but it also you could turn it and it's a spot flashlight.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
love it because depending on if you just need some, for everyone, like walking to the
Yeah.
or you need something to, it works for me either way.
I've got a lantern I've used to look for the Jingle Bell Rock here in Vegas. So forget about being out in the woods. It's just dark out, so in the desert.
Nice.
So
Common sense. There's no such
common
thing. Common
sense.
sense is not common. It is not common. There's too
Well,
many
that's why
things
you
when you
need it.
use your
Right.
common sense.
Right.
So there's reflective clothing. I like
Yeah.
that one as
Yeah.
well. Like put the strips on, etc. Don't.
Matches, a knife. Yeah.
Oh,
I
they're
like a
waterproof.
multi-purpose tool. I like a multi-purpose tool.
Well, but that's the hard part. If you're flying in, they take those. I got one of
Oh, I
those
got you. Yeah.
Swiss Army knives with all the little things, gadgets, and they're like, you can't take this. You got to go check
So,
it in.
for the people that have been to Yellowstone, in West Yellowstone, is there a store that sells all this stuff for people that are like want to go hiking? There should be
Yeah.
if there isn't. I mean, can I get
So-
boots? Can I get a tent? Can I get a multi-tool? Can I get a flashlight and gloves and all this stuff in one store somewhere in West
Yes,
Yellowstone?
and it's
Okay.
called sucker. When you
What's
go
that
to
called?
West Yellowstone,
What'd you call
no,
me?
you're called a sucker when
Oh.
you do that.
Oh, because of the price?
Okay, yes. So I bought most of my stuff in Bozeman because
Okay.
when you get to West Yellowstone, it's a tourist resort.
Well, that
period.
makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But if I don't have it and I just absolutely have it, you can buy it there, I guess is what I'm saying.
Notify your hotel if you're not by William. Oh no, we have friends. You can do that too, but hopefully you're checking in with someone, some loved one, other than just the hotel that may or may not. They don't know you.
Zapster, that's actually cool. A leather covered The Thrill of the Chase with an embedded compass comes in handy. So a cover for the book that's got a compass in it. That's actually pretty cool. Although
okay,
people
Slide totally agrees with me. He says stock up in Bozeman. That's what I did.
How far is Bozeman from Yellowstone?
It's like for me the slowest
hours?
driver on earth. It's like 2 or I think I want to say 3, but it could have been.
That's
2.
not horrible. Okay, all right.
Well, and here's what I did because I'm really cheap. You don't believe me, but I stayed at the Dude, and then right behind the Dude is where there's like open land. I went so many feet out, and I found a tree, and I put my bear spray, all the stuff that was expensive that I couldn't get back on a plane. I put behind.
You hid it.
Yes,
it's still there to this day.
Oh, I guarantee. Like next time I go back, it is going to be there, and it's
like what Forrest used to do with his fishing gear. They used to hide. Oh, that's awesome.
I have been to that spot. That now his was right on the state line. Like his was in a different spot, and I did think for a while the treasure was there.
Look at what Copper Dan put.
Okay, so in the junction.
Nice. I think he just got you back. There is no junk function in the junction. Not yet, but I'm just saying if something happens.
Mike, you start. This is twice now. You started the April Fool's joke. I got blamed. Now Copper Dan. Oh boy, I didn't say that. No, it's Cynthia Meacham. You have to email. Cowlazars, not leave your search partner in the Rocky Mountains as you go into town. I told my son
stay together.
Yes, definitely.
Probably the most important thing you could take as far as safety is a partner. You probably don't want to go out there by yourself, especially if you're inexperienced. Find somebody to go with you. That's probably the best thing, right?
Right. So, let's see. Buy your special things beforehand. Buy supplies in your landing camping town. Yeah. So Bozeman was that for me. And then when I got into West Yellowstone, other than like waters and snacks and stuff, and I bought a ton of snacks at the Walmart in Bozeman. That is exactly what I did. It was perfect. So you can get a lot of those things, but you're going to pay about double the price. So,
right.
Yeah, so
and something I wish I would have had hiking out in the desert here is like a bandana, something just to wipe sweat off your face. So maybe a handkerchief or a bandana, something like that.
Yeah, I actually wear the bandana that goes like I don't know what they call it, one that over the head.
Probably sun protection is important too.
Right, and I have one of those, and I wear it on my neck, but when I need it for like if there's gnats and stuff around, but yeah. he was where no cell service, getting dark,
Wow.
police called. Yeah.
Searcher stories. I think that's what we should do is searcher stories. Just have people tell their stories about their boots on the ground trips and stuff, things
There's
that have happened.
actually a tuber that emailed me, or a tuber that's coming out that emailed me and said they're gonna make it like sit around the campfire and tell boots on the ground stories. And I
That's
think
cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
so. They asked me if I'd be a part, and I said, yeah, I only have a couple stories, but gosh, I would love to come and here's my story, and we sit around and yeah, the treasure hunt behind the dude.
Everybody's gonna go look.
I mean, I do think someone's right. They said that the bear spray probably is dead now, but there's
Yeah.
a really good Swiss Army knife. There's a bunch of stuff. I will say,
That's cool.
the first time that I went out, I put it in a place that I couldn't find it again, so I went and bought the stuff again. So there's two different times that I put stuff back there that it is donated to the searchers of the chase. So go out. It's about 40 feet out from the final like sidewalk area where you go out. So directly from dude. So it's a little scavenger hunt for you. So there
So
you
we're
go.
right at the 45-minute mark. So I would say my two biggest takeaways from our little conversation is tell somebody where you're going. Just don't go out on your own and nobody knows where you're at. Tell somebody where you're going. Take a partner if you can. I know nobody wants to let anybody know where their search location is. Maybe take somebody that has no idea what Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt is. And then the boots. I think the footwear is very, very important. How about for
Yeah,
you,
I
Kate?
would say the check-in is definitely a huge one. I will tell one very short story. I was sitting, and I think here's one thing that I think was the most valuable that I have not said. I got walkie-talkies, and the
Oh, okay.
walkie-talkies went a half mile. It allowed, so after about 6 hours of searching in the one little area that I was in, I looked at my search partner and said, I'm done. I just want to sit here. And he's like, he wanted to circle out and do a little bit more hiking. And I said, that's fine. So I sat and I would just, how you doing? And he'd,
Right.
I'm fine. And he was over over the falls or over this or over that. And then I saw the lightning, and then I don't remember if it was the lightning and the boom, or the boom and then lightning, thunder, thunder, lightning. And supposedly, and I don't know the ratio, it was like for every second is a mile between the lightning and the thunder boom. Well, so it was about 6 seconds. So I thought, oh, we have some time. And I said to my search partner, hey, it's about 6 seconds between the two. And he's like, oh, we're good. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, it's like 4. It's like 3. It's like 2. And he
Really?
came up and he's like, we have to run because we were about a mile.
Wow.
And Steve Gahagan, that tuber was me. We're the only ones who agreed to it. Campfire story. I was the only one that agreed to it. Okay, so Steve Gahagan was the one about the campfire stories, and he
Cool.
emailed a bunch of us, and I was the only one that responded. So he is. I don't think he's launched his YouTube. I'm up for it if you ever want to do
Come
that.
on the show and do it if you want to
Yeah,
start
that
one.
would be fun.
Man, it could be interesting.
But anyway, so I will say when there's lightning, take it really serious. We were running, and I finally got to the part where I'm like, we've just got to duck under a tree. And we ducked under the tree where I just kind of hugged the tree it was about 10 minutes and it was gone. I didn't realize how quickly lightning came in and lightning took off. It was crazy. That was my adrenaline pump because I could only run so fast and he could only run so fast once. And it was like we saw it hit, and then it was like,
Really?
just take cover. And that was my, oh my gosh, crazy story. So okay, so that is all of and I will say in Yellowstone, it's also a little scary, and that's why I haven't taken my kids. When you're walking, when you look down, there can be bubbling land there, like a
Oh yeah.
bubbling, like, so you have, especially if you're off the beaten path. It's not like Old Faithful where you can see it. There's bubbling little areas where you walk into it. That's 100-degree or hundreds of degree. It's not a good thing. So okay, so do we want to talk about the Q&A with Forrest, or do we want to talk about Sassy?
No, I'd say both. But first, somebody asked what's with the Cowlazars shirt that I'm wearing. So for those of you who don't know, maybe you're new, Forrest Fenn's topographic map collection was on eBay, and me and K-Pro bought it, and we sell those maps. There was about 900 maps of New Mexico and Colorado, and that's why I am Cowlazars, and that's why K-Pro is Map Pro. Yeah, I just made that up for you. Map Pro. So those maps are for sale. If you go to Cowlazars.com, you will see the maps that are left, the maps that are available. But the other thing is, me and K-Pro have the official Too Far to Walk map for your wall
Yeah.
from Benchmark Maps. And check it out.
Yeah.
Somebody bought one from me, and they had Copper Dan frame it. And if it's all right with everybody, I'm going to show it right now. Check
Well,
that
and
out.
somebody said that they went to
That is a
we
good
actually
looking map. I know you can't see it, Christy, but I'm showing it
yeah,
to everybody.
we actually have them cheaper than you can get them from Benchmark. So
Yeah,
just
that's
remember
true.
that because we bought them in bulk from them, so they gave us a
Right.
discount. And they're up for these kind of things, so we're not doing anything secretive.
Right.
So if
Yeah,
you want a
it's
benchmark map, buy them from us. If like somebody said, "Oh, I just spent like $110 or something to get the benchmark," I'm so excited. And it's like if you want to pay more, you can.
right.
But a couple searchers have decided to buy them in bulk, and we're going to get them out to the search community. And
So there's
so,
Dan's WWH piece, which is awesome. But here is the
yeah.
Thrill of the Chase map. We have those maps for sale. Copper Dan will frame the map for you. You'd have to buy the map for us, and then Copper Dan would frame it for a price. And he can also embed any of the coins, the Forrest Fenn Searcher coins in that frame. So that looks pretty awesome. Good job, Dan. And that's why I am Maplazars, because we sell maps. So you guys can see
And I
what.
have a whole set of shirts. I have
Yeah,
Cowlazars, Maplazars,
right.
Coinlazars, you
We are
name it.
Maplazars. That's right.
Well, and if you think about it, some people don't know because the website's getting upgraded right now, but we have coins, we have maps, we have all the books, we
Yeah.
bundle the books. So there's a whole variety of things. If
Right.
you need them, we have them. So if you're a new searcher and you have to, and we give bulk discounts, we give a free coin if you buy so much. There's a whole little process to it we won't go into because we still have some things to talk about, which is sassy and Forrest Fenn words that I don't want to get into too much of that until we talk about this content, Michael.
So the AGK's Wednesday night video that they just did yesterday. Watch it if you haven't had a chance to see it. You know what? I wanted to grab the book because I have it. David Blaine's Mysterious Stranger was a treasure hunt. There it is right there. I'm going to grab it. Explain to him what that is. David Blaine had a treasure hunt in his book back in 2003.
Yeah, so somebody came into the room. Her name was like Sassy1962. And she started talking about, I won that treasure. And when I won that treasure, I had lots of problems. And Toby is so good, like right there off the cuff. And I actually think that's in relation to the canasta quote, but I will digress for a minute.
She won the $100,000 because
She
she
won the
solved
100,000.
this treasure hunt. Yep.
So this was crazy because Forrest, Toby got her on the phone and she started saying, I got sued and crazy searchers came out everywhere. I think Forrest Fenn's hunt has crazy searchers.
Oh, we
So
know they do.
oh God,
Right.
we know they do. So it started getting, it was such a good show. So it was interesting how many people sued. Now Random House covered, who did the hunt, they
They were
covered
the sponsor, right?
they were the sponsor and they covered the cost of the lawsuits. I don't think
Right.
Forrest is gonna.
No,
This
you're
has
on
made,
your own. You're
right.
on
This
your
has
own.
made me rethink. Like, okay, I'll make sure the community knows it's gone or it's found. I don't know if I put out anything
I,
after hearing her story.
if I find the treasure chest, you guys will never know. After hearing her story, her horror story, I should say. There's somebody who said, I was there the day before, and it really, there was just so many stupid things that I think I got to be anonymous, guys, if I ever find
Well,
this
and
thing.
we have a whole different level of stupid in this chase. So
Right.
I agree with you
There
that.
are
So
mentally unstable people, in all seriousness, that if whoever finds the treasure chest, and if they were to come out and say, "Look, everybody, I got it," you're opening up yourself for a whole bunch of problems. So lawsuits could be
yeah.
the least of it. I don't know,
Well, and
but
so I talked to Toby last night after the show because he was saying he wanted to get her on tonight. And I'm like, we'll cancel the show. We'll do a joint show, whatever. He is coordinated. I think he's doing a show on Sunday with her. And I think they're going to bring her on and zoom her in.
yeah,
So
it'd be awesome.
I think, yeah. And Sassy did say, oh, yeah, I've conversed with Forrest Fenn and he told me keep going. And I think I'm in the right area, etc. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Jana, what did they sue for? There was somebody that said they were there the day before, so she stole
The idea stole
the
their
idea
solve.
to
It's
solve.
just stupid
But
stuff.
then somebody said that they sued because he had alluded that it was closer to him or made a comment, and the search location they sued David Blaine, and so
I don't
it
know.
became. And so she went into, I think she said there was 3 or 4 lawsuits.
Yeah.
And I actually got called away. I had a work emergency. And by the time I came back on, everybody was like, oh my God. I was like, what happened? Did someone fight? And they're like, no, she has such a great story. Yeah, so she,
I did work on this back then. I was never even. I mean, I was in Michigan, and this ended up being in Laurel Canyon, California, at Rick Rubin's property. If anybody knows who that is, but I'd love to see her on AGK because I
yeah.
remember this whole treasure hunt, and the guy who designed this, Cliff Johnson. Um, he also did the puzzle that's in Astana, the Astana Myth book, which is the
Oh,
current treasure hunt. So, but
yeah.
yeah, that was a really interesting
Well,
show from
so
AGK.
Toby is out of town on Friday. That's why they couldn't do it on Friday. So they're going to do a special show on Sunday, is what I heard. So I'm excited because I'd love to hear more from her. And I haven't read up. I did a little bit of web searching, and it looks like that's a pretty advanced solve. It's not like she just
Oh no, it was
found.
definitely not easy. There was anagrams and Morse code. I mean, it was
Yeah,
definitely ciphers, and it was not
she
easy at
didn't
all.
like just get
Yeah,
WWWH and follow a canyon down
she said
and
she worked on it for 3 months straight because she didn't
yeah.
have a job at the time. But she does say she knows where warm water's halt for the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt. So tune in if anybody ever has her on. So she's an interesting person to hear from, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it was, yeah, I think it was great. So do we want to talk about so if you guys have any comments, I think it was, yeah. And Holly brings up the point. It was like spontaneous. Like she was in the chat room, and it was the funniest thing was we were all like, I always joke around, and Davio and I have fun with it. But AJ, I always say you're my second favorite cow, and then people are like, "Moo," and "Where's your
Yeah,
cow?"
right.
And so she asked Toby at the end of the call. She's like, what is this about cows?
Yeah,
I need to
the
hear about
very end of the video. And they're like, "Oh, that's
cows.
Cowlazars and some other people," and yeah, it was kind of funny because she had
So
no clue
yeah,
what that
yeah.
name
She
meant.
was like, "Who is cow? What?" So we had a little bit of fun. So
Yeah,
there was,
and Bill Gorman, that's what we're going to talk about next. So, the Jenny Kyle video that she posted about what
yeah,
Forrest Fenn said. So,
yeah. So okay. So and yes, it is true. Davio, Sassy is in New Mexico because she has said she has done some statistical work, and most of the treasure hunts out there, when the hunts are in different locations, it's usually the place that's closest to the
hmm
search originator's home.
yeah,
That at least 8.25 miles or 66,000 links, but it is so it would be New Mexico. So that's what
right.
she got. She said she got a response from Forrest when she was looking that said, it looks like you're on the right track. So she thinks it's confirmed. Or she didn't say that exactly, but she thinks there's that shows that perhaps she's in the right spot. So anyway, I think kind of an emerging, hopefully let's embrace her. Let's like, this is such a
hmm
positive. I think this could be
Yeah,
super
I
fun
think so.
of someone that's, I mean, now we have her that won that hunt, Mike that won the boots on the ground clothing hunt. I mean, what else do we need? We just, oh, and Corey, who won the breakfast tea and bourbon?
Oh,
Corey,
Coy Lothrop. Yeah, the
Coy,
Coy Lothrop
Coy.
family.
So we have
hmm
treasure hunters everywhere. It's awesome. So super exciting. So hopefully we'll see her on Sunday, and she'll be able to tell us not a little bit more, a lot more, because she just was articulate. She was able to, and she was just so real. It's like, this is how it is, and this is what happened, and these were the lawsuits, and
And
so
Donna asked, could she be the 200-foot searcher back in 2010, 2011? I don't think so because the Forrest said it's somebody that knew him very well, and I don't think this person did. But if they are an AGK, I mean, ask that question for sure.
oh, John is saying she's now doing it again. So she quit and now she said she's come back, but I don't
Right.
think she went that far back. But I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Yeah, you'd have to ask
She
her.
could be.
So,
She
yeah.
could be, but maybe that's a question she'll take. And Toby and Shelly are so good at facilitating.
So I
Yeah.
got this in the mail from a searcher, actually from Mindy out here in Vegas. So while you're talking about
Ooh.
the Forrest Fenn words, I'm going to open this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Forrest Fenn, for everyone who said he's disappearing and never talking about the chase again, we all know and love Jenny Kyle. She went out to a set of young treasure hunters and gave like a seminar class to a bunch of children.
Yeah, which is
And
awesome. Yeah.
yes, it was so exciting. She said she like got hoarse. She was so excited. They had a ton of questions. They asked Jenny questions, and then Jenny got Forrest to answer them, and she put the first one up. There's a whole set of questions from what I understand. Do you need me to stop, Mike?
No, no, go ahead. I'm good.
Oh, so she put the first one out, and I don't have the exact words, but do you, Mike? Because people are going to think that matters. It was
Oh, the
something like,
scavenger hunt. So the kids said, "Is this like a scavenger hunt where it leads you from one place to the next?" That was the or what? It's funny because they put or what at the end. It's like a kid would ask, like,
Or what?
is this like a scavenger hunt where it leads you one place to the next? And Forrest's question was yes, and take a map. But you know what? Let me look it up because I don't want to misquote. So I'll look it up right now.
Yeah. So I took it that it was kind of a, because here's what so my kids and I do scavenger hunts when they have friends over. I hide one clue at one place, and that one place becomes then the next place, that becomes the next place, that becomes the next place.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that means there are 9 places. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm going to tell you that's what I believe. It confirms more to me. We're looking for 9 discrete places, and those take each of it until we find the last spot, and that's where you pick up the treasure chest.
And here's the exact question and the exact answer from
Okay,
Forrest Fenn.
lay
You
it on
guys
me.
can see this on YouTube on the Mysterious Writings channel. But the question was, is all we have to do is work out what your words mean and follow them? Like walk from place to place like a scavenger hunt or what? And Forrest's answer was yes, and take your map with you. F. So it is place to place. I've thought personally that the 9 clues are 9 landmarks out there in the wild.
Wait, but he said Google Maps. So which map? I think there should be a follow up with those kids because
And
he's answering
take
those
your map
kids.
with you. Yeah,
Is
right.
it the map with the poem?
It's the
Is it
good
this one?
map, probably. Yeah,
Is it
right,
this
right.
one?
Or is it
I
that one,
we
which
need
is
to
Ojo
know.
Caliente? That's one of the topo
Ah,
maps here that Dan framed. So,
yeah.
so yeah, check that out. It's kind of interesting. So maybe Forrest isn't taking a step back from the
Well,
chase
and
like
then
people think.
well, I don't
But the
think
other
he
thing is,
ever
we don't know
said.
how long ago those questions happened. So,
No,
Jenny,
she said that she was
recently?
there like in the last week. I want to
Oh,
say
okay.
like
I
the
didn't
last week
realize
or
that.
two.
Okay.
Yeah, and I might be wrong, and tell me if I am. Um, but I was so going to say something profound, and it's gone
About
now.
the scavenger hunt, Forrest Fenn's words.
Poof, gone. And
So
something
this
got
is what
okay.
Mindy sent me, and it's some kind of a cow puzzle. Scramble squares, perhaps the world's
Nice.
most challenging puzzle. So this weekend, I'm going to work on this, and I'll make a vlog out of it. So thank you, Mindy. Appreciate it.
Ah,
And
that's super
real
cool.
quick, speaking of Mindy, when I found the boots on the ground treasure, I left a little something for somebody who found it before me. Mindy was out there the very next morning and found it. So I never even got a chance to promote it or talk about it in the vlog. But for finding what I left behind, she got one of the numbered 2019 Forrest Fenn coins. And what she's decided to do is put it on eBay. So I'm going to show you guys the auction right now because she just put it up.
Well,
Um,
can
yeah,
we ask why she's putting it on eBay? I think
she
this is important.
yeah, I believe she wants the money for boots on the ground trip, for a Forrest Fenn boots on the
That's
ground
awesome.
trip, just like Bill Kaiser did with the coin he put on eBay, which went for I believe over $600. This here, I'm going to show the eBay auction right here. This is coin 46 out of 50. That is the box. Dan, you might recognize that. That's the box you sent me the coffee cup in with a plastic cow that used to be on my bookshelf back here and a World Series of Fenn poker chip. So you get everything in this picture. There's the coin, number 46. And she put it up for 1 penny. It's going to run for 7 days, which means it's going to end live on next Thursday's show. But it's
That's so
awesome that she
funny.
put it up for 1 penny. So
One
you get the
penny.
cow, you get the coin, you get the box, which on the top you can see right there. I wrote the email, and whoever finds this, contact me. And then, yeah,
Uh oh.
coin
The
46 out of
room's
50.
going crazy. Lion, not lion. Uh oh.
What happened? What?
The people are saying people are lying. I don't know what's happening. So
Well,
okay.
somebody said the questions were from late March, the Jenny Kyle questions. So, I mean, late
Yeah.
March, it's only the beginning of April. So,
Right. So yeah, that's awesome. K bro, could you get me unbanned from AG?
I'm not going
Anagram.
there.
Anagram, send me. Let's connect offline here. I don't know if it's Thor or email, and we'll talk. I don't have a lot of pull practically anywhere, but I don't know. I think we're all. I. Here's my philosophy, and I've been very clear on Thor. Other than if you personally threaten me, you come to my home, or you file a lawsuit. That is when you will be permanently banned, and you will never, ever, ever come back. And all 3 of those have happened, and those people went back on Thor. You'll never, ever come back. But for all the rest, there's about 15, maybe 20 others, maybe a little bit more. If you've had a bad night and I've had to ban you, and then you email me and say, you know what, it's been a month, I really want back on, come on back on. Let's get,
Just
I
don't
have
do it
bad nights.
again as
Yeah,
soon as you
just
come
try
back.
to see. And, I hate to say, you know what, I do have to say, those of you that were in the room last night, I was in the room on Monday night and I was clicking away and I was like, hey, I always say hi to everybody and they usually say hi back. Nobody said hi. I was like, Then I asked a few questions. Nobody, and I went into my daughter's account and I went on. I was banned. I called Toby and I said, Toby,
Yeah,
or
that's
I
right.
texted Toby.
You were banned.
I like, I don't know. I know some people are upset when they get banned. I was like, I was banned from
Yeah.
AGK. And Toby's so funny. He's like, don't make it a big deal. I accidentally banned you. I'm like, there's no accident. There's a beef here. There's like, and that almost became the lawsuit. Now I may.
Now they know what to do if they want to be banned and you won't ban them.
Yeah.
So Mindy is in the chat room and she said yes, she's going to
Oh,
invest in a good pair of boots and a boots on the ground trip. So anybody's
nice.
interested, help her out with the eBay auction.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So speaking of numbered coins, we have a little treasure hunt of our own that we're doing, don't we? So we showed clue number 1 last
Yeah.
Monday. Now we're about to show clue number 2, but I want to make sure everybody's aware that we're doing something a little different. We send out an email before we go live, which contain the clues, because not everybody wants to watch an hour of the YouTube show, and there may be a night when
That's shocking.
that's true. It's shocking, but true. And there may be a night where we're not going to go live. I mean, life happens and sometimes things come up, but we still want to release the clues. So there is a mailing list, and the people that are on that mailing list, I sent it out to a bunch of people today, right before this YouTube went live. If you had Cowlazars2 at gmail.com, if you want to get on the mailing list, all you have to do is email me at Cowlazars2 at gmail.com. I sent the email out. If you don't have it, look in your spam folder, because Cowlazars2 at gmail.com kind of looks like a weirdish email. And I know Gmail puts a lot of that into spam. But those people had
Weirdish.
clue number 2 an hour
You're
ago.
weird. Is
What's
that a
that?
new? Is that a new
What'd I
word? You're
say?
weirdish. You're
It's
weirdish.
a weirdish looking email. They're like, Cowlazars2. What is this? All right, so here's clue 2, guys. 4. And the other thing, which you would know if you had the email, and I kind of posted it everywhere, but this proxy item, whoever finds it and turns it in, what do they win, Capro? Not 1 coin, but 2
No,
coins.
as another searcher came up and said, "You guys are doing some cool stuff." I don't know. I'm kind of winging it here,
What?
but said you're doing some cool stuff. I'm going to donate a copper coin. So
Oh,
there's
that's
a
right.
copper
Jeff
coin,
M. from Michigan. So thanks, Jeff.
Jeff M. And so this one actually is a numbered 42 silver and 240
272 copper.
272 copper. So
Yeah,
you'll get two for the price of
right.
one, and the price is $0
That's
and
right. These are free
0
hunts.
cents.
So here's clue 2.
Okay.
The needles in a haystack start you on your sail. Only 2 stand watch at the end of the trail. Every searcher that dares to look for the prize, go forth on thy adventure to earn your surprise. I don't know what it means. Hopefully you guys can figure it out. A new clue every Monday and Thursday. If you're on the mailing list, you'll get it before we go live. If we go live, it'll be at the end of the program. And we're going to do a clue every Monday and Thursday till somebody finds the proxy item. So
And we already have the
fun
next ones
stuff.
teed up. So can you
Yeah.
hurry and find these because
Yeah,
we're ready
right.
for the next one. So, okay.
Cape-
So that is what? Cape
No,
Day,
no,
what?
go ahead. I was going to say, you gave a little hint 2 programs ago, but people got to go watch that if they want to know what that
I don't
was.
know what you mean because I slipped and I'm sorry. You
Ah.
keep bringing it up and I don't think you need to do that.
Also on
Yeah.
Cowlazars.com under 2019 FF coin hunts, you can see the clues there as well.
So we're at 42 right now. We're going to keep working our way down all the way
The
until we
numbered
get
coins,
to the,
right.
yeah. So the lower the number, people seem to get really excited about. And so, hey, if you need to go boots on the ground, I can tell you, I talked to Bill Kaiser and he's out. He's the one that got the Raleigh one. And he was like, gosh, I was like going through the book again. He's like, I'm pumped. I found this one. And he sold it. So he got some money for boots on the ground.
$600 on eBay. So even if
Yeah.
you're like, I don't want a
Well.
FF coin, you can sell it. There's people out there that do. Trust me. Let me put my Coin Lazars t-shirt on. There's people out there that want the coins.
Okay, so one thing, and I will tell you, Mike has cautioned me on this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm back and I'm a little wild and crazy. So here I go. It's not an April Fool's joke, but it's going to be something that there was somebody on Facebook that said, I'm so sad all the tubers are gone. There's only 1 or 2 left on Forrest Fenn, and I'm so bummed about it. Who watches any of the tubers? Can anybody give me a recommendation? So for the 100 plus people that are out there right now, I wanted to do a couple of shout outs. There are the I'll say the traditional people, the longtime people like the Flip Side and Fin Treasure Hunters, and lots of people out there that have been out there for a while. But I wanted to do a shout out for a couple of the people that are just starting to get out there that you may not know about. I'm not going to do the weekend update where everybody knows everything, but I just want to say there's lots of tubers out there. There's different names and different, but there's lots of people talking about lots of things. If I miss someone, it's not intentional. Don't hate. Don't get upset. I just wanted to throw out, hey, if you guys just want to go and start scratching your head and thinking, yeah, that does make sense, or I didn't think of it that way. I really do get my best ideas from some random post on Thor or some random discussion somewhere where I'm like, I never thought of it that way. So I'm going to do a shout out to a few people. Alan Kay did a video this week on, it was like 17 nuggets from a 2013 Dow collected bookstore, and he just kind of came up. They weren't huge ahas, a couple of them might have been, but most of them were like, we already know this, but did you think of it this way? So I think he did a really good job. So if you have not, put in Alan Kay and put in Forrest Fenn, and you should be able to find him. K Pro is the only tuber that actually tries to be part of the community. Oh, that's super sweet. So, Nick, thank you.
Hey, what about me?
Cynthia. Well, you always are. You're Switzerland. Do you remember when you used to be Switzerland?
Yeah, that ship sailed a long time ago, I think. But I remember once upon a time when I was like, I don't know what anybody else is doing. I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's sometimes I'm like, Mike, did you see this? He's like, damn, I have a job. You do too. How did you find that? And it's like, I just like everybody's perspective. It's just so fun. Oh yeah, Cowlazars, pew pew pew.
Yeah, right.
That's fun. Cynthia put out a really good video about the different things and lots of jam and peanut butter, and there's it's fun. Cynthia is the most fun human being on the planet. Go and see her blog, and then now she's starting to spool up some of her. I think she's going to be on YouTube soon, but her safe haven is AGK. She lives like 5 minutes from Toby now. I think we're going to see her more and more on AGK, and I think that's cool. MEH, the learning curve. I think he's in the room, but he's on the other side of the planet, so he might have already gone to bed. He has a channel called The Learning Curve. It's
Forrest
super
Fenn
fun.
Learning Curve. Yep.
The Forrest Fenn Learning Curve, and it's super fun because he talks to Forrest Fenn, and we get to just observe as he does that.
It's an interesting idea, Michael. It's, in other words, that he starts every video with "Hello, Forrest." It's, in other words, the video is a video message to Forrest, and that was really an interesting idea. I haven't seen anybody do that before, so good one.
Yeah. AJ has been very clear. AJ Rainville. I don't even know if you could find him with the Forrest Fenn tag. He's been very clear. He loves treasure hunts. I find him very similar to Mike, since both of them are cows. If you don't know, he went to the World Series of Fenn and was in a cow suit. So I always say he's my second favorite cow. But he's starting to get spooled up on puzzles and different hunts. He just went live for the first couple of times. He just bought a he didn't buy. He took the search coin that he promised me and gave it to Copper Dan and got some Copper Dan art. But he's just starting to spool up. So he's somebody that you should go and subscribe to, because I think he's just super awesome. The Forrest Fenn Learning Curve, a must watch. I agree. So again, I will tell you, this isn't an all-inclusive list. These are just a few people. When I saw this post,
a lot of tubers nowadays.
Yeah, I just thought I'm going to throw out a few just in case. Of course, Rick, Illinois Ghost, I think is the most consistent person on the planet, and he is so consistent and stable. He just, hey, tubers, think about this. Sometimes he goes live. Most of the time he doesn't, and he just gives some really good content. He's really succinct. I really like him, but most of my safety stuff has come from him. He's just phenomenally smart about, or experienced, smart too, but experienced about all of this. So I throw that out. And then Susie, she has a new name. It's RF Hecky Fenn Haven.
Yeah.
Ooh, gosh, I remembered that. I deserve something. I don't know. Coin Mike, do I get anything? Susie does short snippets unless she's live, and sometimes she deletes the live like Davio. I appreciate where you're coming from because you think you've given away too much, but it frustrates me. But Susie also throws up quite a few just small things. Usually it has the book. I love She will have the book there. She's usually not on camera. I don't think she's ever been on camera, but you can see her book is tattered. She has been through it. She is awesome. It is so fun to watch her. So Susie, AJ, Ramblin' Pam, she is just
Yeah.
a traveling fool. Her and her husband, they are, again, I don't think just Fenn treasure hunters. They go everywhere and they do a lot of updates. And yeah, Susie Fennhaven, that's exactly it. So again, super, and she used to be RF Hecky. She's no longer RF Hecky, so she changed her name to it. And then, somebody that just came back this week. What William just brought up, Rodney Greenway. I hope he starts coming back. I haven't seen something from him in a little while, but one that I've seen that he just started up, I think it was Forrest Fenn Hints or something like that, is Adventurer. It's ADVENTURER, or Adventure, FENN. I don't remember. But he's just somebody that he gets on when he wants. He throws out what he wants. He just kind of gets you to think, and then he signs off. I really enjoy him because he's a little bit like Rodney, younger, different, I think different life experience than me. So he just gives me something to think about. And then he's like, I'm good. Bye. And so I super enjoy listening to him. And then last but not least, Copper Dan. Copper Dan.
Dan.
Yeah.
Landscape. You do it like this. Do it like this. Landscape. Do you like your videos in landscape? Even if it's a camera, turn it somehow. Make it landscape instead of portrait. Just advice.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
all.
He has a new. He was a little bold last night. He put his new. So he had the WWWH, which is here and here.
And guess who bought the last one that was on eBay? My mother bought the last WWH piece. She watched the vlog we did, and she bought it that night. So she owns that number 68, I think it was. Let me know when you ship it, Dan.
He donated that to a searcher in need.
To Jessica Berry. That's right.
So all of Cowlazars' mom's proceeds went to.
Isn't that crazy?
That's funny.
I didn't even know she was the one who won it until she texted me the next morning. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And so Copper Dan, I think he's had a couple of art videos, but he's also doing hunts, and so he's just spooling up. You need to subscribe to him.
Canyon Down artwork, right?
Yeah. Those are just a few people, and then of course Boots on the Ground Clothing. They're spooling up.
That treasure hunt's still going. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to hit a few of the so people that think like Fenn tubers are gone. No, there's just some new ones, some existing ones. Everybody, and we're just spooling for some reason, and I think it's our triumphant comeback, like Mike puts it. Our site was hitting the Thor site was hitting about 700 hits a day, which was down from last search season. We have spiked, or didn't spike, but we had about 1,500 on Monday, and we've been pretty consistent about 1,200 since then. So
yeah, hintofriches.com. Go check it out.
Yeah. So, and that's where we discuss all things, and we get a little ornery, but we are only allowed to be fun.
Another place we're going to put the clues for the treasure hunts, hintofriches.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all things we have to say tonight about Forrest Fenn, his words, how to stay safe.
That's it. And lastly, I want to say anybody who's watching the Vegas Knights, the Vegas Knights hockey game is on right now. My son's at the game, Chris. His birthday's coming up, so his mom took him there for his birthday. So I wonder if maybe they'll show him in the crowd. You know how they show birthdays or something?
Yeah.
So look for Chris in the Vegas. The game's on right now. So
I'm going to throw this out as a suggestion. You don't have to take it, but you may want to do a little. I know when I'm with my son, who's the younger one, he is very different when both my kids are around. I know you just have Eric. Maybe you should do that puzzle just with Eric tonight.
That's true. Well, I'm going to have the boys this weekend, so I'll be doing it with them. Maybe I'll make a vlog on it and show if we can solve it or not. I don't know. So cool. I got to see what it is. Looks like a puzzle, but it's not an easy one. So thanks again, Mindy. It's fun stuff.
Yeah. And a few of you, when Mike, really cocky Mike, said, you guys could never get me. I appreciate those that have reached out to me about
really?
How we can get Mike.
Is that right?
Where Mike? I just want to apologize now.
Oh, is it coming? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know if it'll be 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, or maybe next show. You know what? Always expect the unexpected.
All I'll say is anybody involved, I'm going to get you back. If you get me, I'm going to get you back. So just be prepared for it.
Yeah, that's what Copper Dan says.
All right, everybody. I think that's it. Thanks for joining in. Thumbs up the video, especially thumbs up for getting the volume fixed from both
Mike
of us.
did that.
I was
Mike
too
did
low.
that.
K-Pro was too high. I hope it's fine
Yeah.
this time. We'll be back Monday. Tune in then to see what the topic is. We'll figure out what it is. And
Yeah.
thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Night. Bye.